Hey everybody, I'm Greenhavak,
And I'm Cynize.
and this is ESHQ's Good Luck, Have Fun.
Justice reigns from above.
No one can hide from my sight.
友人の剣をくれ
Cheers, love! The cavalry's here!
Hey everybody, and welcome to Good Luck, Have Fun, where we're going to be giving you our picks for who's winning today in the Overwatch League. Today is day 4 of week 3, or Saturday the 27th. And today is, the running narrative is some top flight teams versus kind of our mid-range teams to kind of mid to low, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I would say the narrative is a solidifying greatness. And what I mean by that is I think we have some teams that need to come out and they need to win big.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have some teams that are hungry and might want to steal some wins from these guys.
Oh, that's right. I mean, half of these teams have been put down over and over again. And if they can steal a win from these teams, there's going to be a change in morale for both.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. So kicking off the day, we have Dallas versus Boston. And it's hard to say we haven't seen... We've seen great looks from Dallas. We've seen bad looks from Dallas. Mm-hmm. They're a team that looks like they have a huge list of cons just because of the amount of losses that they've accumulated. But I feel like some of that's just what we were talking about yesterday, about they are just playing against the top flight teams. And San Francisco on day 3 will have been their first non-top flight team that they're playing against. Mm-hmm. So the big question is, Dallas versus Boston. Can Dallas see this through the way they need to? Dallas needs to get some wins under their belt. Now, we called for wins for Dallas for day 3. Mm-hmm. I personally am calling for a win for Dallas today, but I would say the big thing for Dallas, the big pro that they need to have going into this game is they need to be on point. They need to be talking. They need to be communicating. They need to engage at the same time. And when they engage, they need to attack viciously. They cannot let the Boston Uprising... They can't let the Uprising set up Dream Casper. They can't let Boston Uprising set their DPS up for success. And if Dallas doesn't do the right job of putting a big level of pressure and set the stage for Boston to fail, Boston has the ability to punish lackluster play. We've seen it against New York Excelsior, so my pro for Dallas is that they have the mechanical skill, they have the team that can do this.
Yep.
Their con, they have to put it together for it to work.
Yeah.
Boston, you know what? Their con is their pro. They have the ability to do this, but they're not expected to win. So they have the freedom to try differently. And if they can try differently, they can get a little scrappy, and they can get the Dallas Fuel on their off foot, and they can steal even a couple maps. It's going to be huge.
Right. If they can do that. But what do you think is actually going to happen?
Now, I see the Dallas Fuel winning this 3-1. And my reason is I think the Dallas Fuel have really... I think with the XQC shakeup, they're reevaluating the way that they approach games. I think their training process has to have changed. I think their first couple of days, they are in the Overwatch League. They walked out going, we're a top 3 team. Get over it. And then they went, we've lost every game. And so I think that's going to be the kick in the butt they need to really get the wins they need against some of the still growing or struggling teams in the Overwatch League. But
sure.
What about you?
I think Boston Uprising might be able to take a game early on and really kind of kick the Fuel in their butt, saying, hey, we're an actual team. We're, Boston Uprising and the San Francisco Shock, I feel like they're the same mid-tier level. Mm-hmm. So if they don't take them seriously, Fuel can lose a couple of games, which would be pretty horrible. And if they do lose them, they're going to be in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Fuel, they're going to come in with and make sure that they don't underestimate their opponent. I feel like they won't, because the previous day they had a mid-tier team that they're playing against. So they're going to come out swinging, and it's going to be a 3-1.
Okay.
In the Dallas's Fuel favor.
I think that's more than fair. So moving on to the second day of the week, the Valiant versus Florida Mayhem. So the LA Valiant versus the Florida Mayhem. Do you want to take this one?
I would love to take this one. We have two opposites here. We have one team, Florida Mayhem, who's learning, getting experience, making sure that they're trying to get better. Mm-hmm. They're improving themselves. They're bottom tier, but they are hungry. Mm-hmm. We have LA Valiant. We have a team that came in week 1 strong. Mm-hmm. Week 2, not so much. It's really going to be set on them really performing here. They want to get their morale back up. They want to make sure that they put Mayhem in their place compared to them. They want to be up there with the top tier teams again. So they are going to come out swinging. They're going to go all out from the very beginning, and really, they're going to take it. If Mayhem doesn't come to play, if Mayhem doesn't come thinking that they're going to win, Valiant's just going to sweep over them.
It really is a game of, if the Valiant play, if Valiant play the way they can, but with nothing new, and Florida doesn't bring a game, it will just go to Valiant.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think the Valiant are really going to this week want to hit that ground running again and reaffirm that, hey, no, we belong in the top flight of these teams. So I personally am going 4-0.
This is going to be a morale booster for Valiant if they can actually come playing.
Mm-hmm. So I agree. And finally, wrapping up day 4, the LA Gladiators versus the Houston Outlaws.
This game hurts. 2 of my favorite teams going head to head. Mm-hmm. We have Houston showing up and kicking butt in week 2. We have the Gladiators, who I fell in love with. Just week 1, week 2, their performance has just been beautiful. They're strategic. They're decent in their gameplay. And I fell in love with them. I love both of these teams. And I cannot talk about their pros and cons, what they need to do. I just got to give it to you, Havoc. What do you think?
The Gladiators' performance in week 2 was at times, just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And at times, I think they struggled. Now, we kind of expected them to struggle against the New York Excelsior, being, really that very quick rising team to that top flight of performance. But their comeback, I want to focus on their comeback versus the Philly, because Philly had them against the ropes. Philly is a great team at the control points, and that is where the Gladiators rallied. They took a deep breath.
Yep.
And one of their players even tweeted out, "I'm taking a break from this game because I need to meditate." And you know what? He came back and he got the job done.
That's right.
So, things like that, I think the Gladiators are a team that can adapt, they can rise, they can do what they need to do to get wins. But, they struggle against big mechanical skill differences. They struggled against the New York Excelsior. They struggled against the Seoul Dynasty. I think if Houston is on, Houston has the mechanical skills to go, back up.
Yep.
And I think Houston, when they play organized, when Houston is on, like I said, they are a team that can challenge anybody. So it really comes down to, does the consistency of the Gladiators, they play about as they play. They don't have good games. They don't have bad games. They just have games.
Yeah.
They're just always at a certain level.
Sure.
Does their consistency beat the Outlaws? Great one game, okay the next. Amazing one game, mediocre. So does consistency beat inconsistency, but with star power? So, that's the big question. And for me personally, I have it going to overtime, and the winner of overtime is the Houston Outlaws. 3-2 for the Houston Outlaws.
Wow. points were awesome. I completely agree, even though I don't want to say it. But it's going to definitely go into overtime. Both teams are fantastic. I love the opposites here. You have the flat line, nothing, going wrong, nothing going perfect or whatever for the Gladiators. They are just a solid team. Then we have the spikes, the dips, and all the wonderful narrative that goes along with the Houston Outlaws. But yeah, it's going to be overtime. Houston Outlaws are going to be taking it 3-2.
Oh, and I know that's hard for you to say. I know it's hard to pick between your two teams. I'm glad I haven't had to do it yet.
Forget it. It's going to be a tie. No matter what, they're both going to win. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, sadly for you, that's impossible. So you'll have to be upset for someone. And I guess we'll just have to figure out who. And so that wraps up this week in the Overwatch League. As we say goodbye to week 3, we say hello to week 4. So next Wednesday, we'll be right back here giving you all our picks. But until then, good luck. Have fun. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe and join the conversation down in the comments. It really helps us out a lot. And if there's any other content you would like to see from us, make sure to let us know because we're all ears here at ESHQ.